Talking about Chris Benoit. Let's get
Yeah,
going.
light topical. There's a part of me where I'm always like sometimes I will rewatch one of his old matches and I'm like, damn, he was like so talented. But then there's the other part of me of knowing like how his brain ended up, how it went, and I'm like, is this really what I want from a wrestling match? Of like, yeah, dog, you gonna have crazy brain and then murder everyone. You gotta wrestle like that. Like it's man. And then there's some people who are like, oh, we need to put him in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, in the Hall of Fame? What?
Who is still arguing that Chris Benoit needs to be in the Hall of Fame? That's insane.
I'm like, you were like, and those same people get very quiet when you're like, yeah, they need to take Hogan out of it.
There's a lot messed up with that. Oh man, I can't wait until the studies come out about wrestling, like the studies that came out about football. My favorite thing that is about football specifically, and I'm talking about American football, gridiron, if you will, that is that we know that it's scrambling the brains of every single person who's playing, or like 97% of the people who, regardless of gear, regardless of helmets. And we've kind of collectively decided that it's such a profitable business, and Americans are so excited for it that we just, we don't care. We're just going to sweep that under the rug and pretend it's not real. That's really what it is.
Well, I think you're looking at it in a sane, rational way.
Oh, you're correct. That's not the American way.
Not the most evil possible way of like, because if you look at it, a lot of those guys who are playing there are coming from like, let's just say not the greatest neighborhoods in this country.
In this fair country of ours.
And they're being forced to play a game that's gonna rob their mind, just for the hope of maybe they can be there for 5 years to get a finger on generational wealth. But even then, they're gonna get so broke from the painkillers and all of it. But we're like, you know what? We love this blood sport. This is what it's all about, baby.
I'm like, it's why I'm glad that football hasn't really taken off in other places, because I'm like, it's so just completely dangerous.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm on Team Galactic's 3 commanders. We're trying to create a new world that's better than this one. One with less people show a little understanding about what we do. You don't understand either, do you? It's a little saddening to have a battle to decide what we should do next. If I win, you leave. If you win, we Team Galactic will leave.
Why? Why can't you talk it out?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's very weird how every time someone, like in a story like this, goes on like, we're gonna create a better world, my brain instantly jumps to, are we doing brain cleansing? Because that's like, that has a much heavier connotation than I think you realize it does. That's Nazi ideology, like.
I mean, you know, Nazis are some bad dudes.
That's my
thing. Here for
we talk about yeah, hot take. Nazis, not a fan. Not a fan. Could do without them. I don't like that she said that with a complete smile. It's like, what are you doing to my Pokemon?
What the fuck is purr ugly?
It's Glammeows evolved form.
Okay.
You know, when you like overfeed a cat and it gets ugly.
Sometimes it'd be like that.
I don't think it'd be like that, but it do. What was I gonna say though? Oh, what the fuck is this? You had a berry? Bastard.
Berry.
What am I gonna say there? I had something. It's gone now. Oh! We've talked about this before, I think, but it is insane to me that if you want to like be the laziest person possible and make a villain without having to like establish why they're a villain, you can just make them a Nazi. It's just widely accepted in just every form of media that it's like, hey, Nazis, pure evil. And then, I mean, we have real Nazis coming back, and our own guys are just like, you know, they're just they're troubled youths.
Let's hear both sides.
Yeah, what are we gonna do? There are bad people on both sides. That still gets me. Where I'm like, we have a universal standard for evil. And then people are just like, well, you know.
Well, I'm getting rich off of this.
Like, I was thinking about this the other day, and I did mean to bring this up to you. Have you looked at a Tiki Torch the same way in the last 2 years?
Oh, no. I'll never look
It's
at TV
forever ruined, and it has to. Their sales have to have taken a nosedive, right?
I was on the building rooftop that I managed, and like I was like, oh, we should get maybe some tiki, and I was like, no, I don't like the outfit. I don't like the outfit for that.
It's insane that something like that happened. I'm trying to think of other things that have been like co-opted by less than savory groups that have like ruined the image of it.
Swastika?
Oh, I guess that's the big one, right? The form or symbol of peace of Buddhism is. And if anyone ever tells you that it's a symbol of peace from Buddhism, you need to call the police on that person because they are.
I mean,
They're hiding some shit. Like,
it comes down to the complexion. If they're closer to the white side, oh no, you run the other way. If they a little brown in complexion, you probably
if they are a bald monk in robes, then I think it's okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's the only exception. I don't make the rules. I do in this case, but still. So if you're missing it, by the way, I'm confused. Which when you're confused, you have a chance to hit yourself before you do your own moves. And I've hit myself twice in a row now.
Oh, I was want to know some. So I go on the old town Facebook where people are.
I can't believe you still go on that.
I don't. My parents don't even live there anymore. I'm still in that shit. I'm still like, yep. Let's see what's going on today.
I haven't lived there in years, and I still go there.
One of the dudes got upset because apparently the train, the barrier that like blocks the street off, it broke and it was just down for like a couple hours, and people like they were waiting for someone to come and fix it. And he was just like, we need to get rid of the fucking train.
What?
There's only like 2 people on that car. It's ruining the town. I'm like, what the? You are real? I thought you were just like you died out like 10 years ago.
I was gonna say, bro, you lost this fight like 15 years ago when they added the trains. Like,
the train is great. I love the train.
I remember being on the side that didn't want the train when they first added it, because the train leads like further out into like actual Massachusetts, so like Boston. Oh, wait, this guy can finally see his daughter again. We did a good deed today.
But wait, you were on the side of against the train?
Yeah. Because I was just like, because I heard the arguments of like, oh, it'll be noisy and stuff like that, and it'll interfere with stuff. And I was a kid. I was like, we were in like middle school at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just like, oh, you know, we shouldn't get it then. And they said they're going to add it anyway. And I was like, oh, well, all right. Like, I wasn't like that impassioned about it. I was just like, sort of just like, if I had a choice. And then they added it, and then I've used it probably hundreds of times. So I'm like, ah, no, they definitely should have added that. Like, that was pretty. This is a pretty good addition.
It's so not. We need more trains.
Anyone who says that we shouldn't have added the train is one of those people who is like, they don't leave the town ever.
Yeah.
For any reason, and that shit terrifies me. When I hear someone has lived in the same town their whole life, I'm like, okay, you know, that could happen. When I hear they haven't left that town in their whole life, that's a red fucking flag. Like, it's like you can go 5 miles any direction and leave the town. Like, what do you mean? Like,
it's such a weird like thing to me, because I'm always just
and they'll like brag about it. I'm like, that's not a accomplishment.
The town we grew up in was very small. But it like the other aspect of it is it's so hard to leave there in the sense of like you have to go through shit.
Which is why we need a train.
Yeah. And also I'm like, if you need to get into Boston, it's a real bitch to have to drive your car there, find parking, and then you get to explore Boston, a very walkable city. But like
it's a really fun kind of disconnect, because the town we grew up in was, I think this is a real statistic, 10 minutes away from Boston by ocean, 45 minutes by drive, and 45 minutes by train.
Oh yeah, because you could take
yeah, which is very funny.
Nice.
But it's like also just like not an option for most people, because there's no like ferry. So it's just like if you have a private boat, you can take it.
No, there was a. I don't know if it's still there. There was a shuttle boat for a period of time from Hingham.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was my dad's preferred method of going to Boston.
Interesting.
I didn't know how he found it either. But that's like earliest memories are taking that and then going to the commuter rail because it was easier from my mom's job.
Oh yeah, before the commuter rail cut. Yeah, that makes sense. Do we keep talking about local infrastructure? Do you think that's a good topic for our viewers in the UK?
Hey, let's talk about it. In America, we ain't got no roads.
Actually, in America, we only have roads.
Yeah,
That's it.
Fucking terrifying roads. I almost get hit by a car like every other day here. It's really fucking scary.
I don't know that you have communicated to YouTube how anti-car you've gotten.
Oh, especially because it's funny because I have a car.
Yeah, it is.
And like Juliana does not understand. I hate it so much. But, like, it is.
This dude had 3 Geodudes in the Bidoof. I kind of fuck with that.
Give me the power of Emperor of New York City, and I will get all the cars out of Manhattan and just allow buses. But it's just like you're either stuck in traffic, everyone's driving so fast. Like, what's the rush, man?
I do think I do think this is one of those things where it's like you can't really plan for it. So I understand why people get confused, but once a city reaches a certain population density, it only makes sense to walk back like cars and stuff like that and replace it with public transportation. That's just common sense. Like, we're taking cars that can fit, I don't know, 2 to like 8 people if you're bringing like a minivan or some shit like that, or like a huge like Rango or whatever. But like, versus a bus that can take 40, 50 people.
Oh yeah, the dude in that Facebook post, that was another thing. He's just like, look at the train causes so much traffic, and I'm just like, how many people do you think are on that train? Like, he was just like, I think he's like, there's probably only 1 to 2 people on that train. I'm like, yeah, but what about all the other stops before?
Yeah,
like,
we're literally the first stop. Like, so it's. But it's just one of those things where it's like, I do wish that like major cities, like Boston, for example, Boston's a very walkable city, so it's not as bad.
Yeah.
But New York, LA, Portland,
LA especially.
LA sucks even worse than New York, which is somehow impressive.
That was the thing that sucked when I went to Austin. Was like, oh,
Austin's
this is a
kinda
cool
bad too,
city.
yeah.
And we had a rental car, which was at least nice, but like having to, like, I can't get too drunk because I have to drive. I can't, like, that's the best part about living in New York is always like, as long as I'm fucked up enough to get to the subway, I'll get home safely. But again, that's male privilege. A lot of women sadly don't have that. But
I'm glad you recognize that. I was talking about that with my girlfriend, where I was like, we had a situation. I'm gonna briefly interrupt you, and then we can go back. Where I was picking up food, and we'd ordered it like super late at like 10 p.m. And like I went inside, or the guy called me, and he was like, "Oh, is this the right place?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it looks like, you know, it looks like this, but it's actually an apartment building." And the guy was like, "No, it used to be that." And I was like, "Okay, so you found it?" Like, and then he's like, "Yeah, I used to live around this area." I was like, I didn't sign up for this. What are we doing right now?" Like, I'm just like, why am I listening to this DoorDash driver talk to me? And the phone call went for like 2 minutes, and I was like, that's too long. It's a 30-second call, if that. And then, so then I purposely waited like 5 minutes because I'm like, I know this fucking guy is waiting out there. I know for a fact that this fucker is outside because he just wants to like have a conversation about like where like the neighborhood and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to do this. So I waited 5 minutes.
He's that only. He hasn't spoken
yeah,
to anyone
exactly.
today.
So he was waiting out. So I figured he was waiting outside. So I waited like 5 minutes. Finally go outside and grab my food, and there's a car waiting in the entrance of the apartment. I'm like, I already know. I get there, I pick up my food, and I hear a loud beep, and he like waves. And I was like, oh, thanks. He's like, just making sure it wasn't stolen. And I was like, thanks. Bye. I'm just like, and that like I came back and I was like, I thought about it. I was like, you know how terrifying that would be if I wasn't a 6'2" giant man. Like, do you know? Like, can you imagine being like a woman having to go through that? And just like guys just like fucking waiting for you. That shit is insane.
It's just so. Like, I understand the guy's intention, but also I'm like, dude, you don't have the rapport. You have not built up the rapport that someone would feel comfortable. And it's also it's creepy as fuck.
Yeah.
He's sitting in the car, dog.
There's no like introspection.
I can't see if that car. And also, they always have fucking tinted windows. At least in New York, we don't have that issue. For the most part, most people don't really do
So this
cars over here.
This is Weasel. When air fills the flotation sac on its neck, the sac balloons like an inner tube. This Pokemon floats with its head out of the water.
How does the flotation sac get filled?
I assume it just like breathes in.
Blood?
Yeah, blood. I interrupted you. You were talking about
Being fucked up and being at least able to ride the subway back. But again, like women don't always have that courtesy.
no.
But at least if you're broke and the sun's out, you always have a method of getting home. Hopefully. Sometimes though, like the subway, just by virtue of it being a subway, you might be up Schitt's Creek if you're trying to go between Queens and Brooklyn, and you're gonna have to ride that bus.
Yeah, the good news is that horror waits around every corner, including the subway. So.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they be shooting people on that subway now. But
how could they?
I'm good, don't worry.
There's like 100 cops there. Like, how? What do you mean?
That should be pissing me off too. I see cops every morning.
I said that knowing it would piss you off, and I shouldn't have done that.
And they just staring at people, and I'm like, don't you got like crime to go fight? We all trying to get to work over here, or like the 275 ain't gonna change the world. It ain't gonna like it's not that serious.
Oh man, it's taking a lot of self-control to not go down a rabbit hole there. So we're just gonna we need to move away from it. And I know you're the same way, except you don't have that self-control, which is why I'm scared. So that's
now I've been biking most.
Oh, bike friends.
Yeah, it's nice. I forgot how like it's a child activity that I'm like this is a lot more fun as an adult.
I thought about getting a bike for a little bit. I probably should. It'd be easier to get like groceries and stuff because I could just like throw it in my backpack.
Or if you put a little basket on that shit
in the front, get a little bell too. Ting ting.
I mean, hey, I'm not gonna knock it. The real sign of wealth to me in New York City, and I know this is gonna sound kind of problematic, but it is. When I see someone with an e-cargo bike, I'm like, you are wealthy. You're smart too. It's like
I don't know what the e-cargo is.
It's a bike with a motor. But it has
you talked
like
about
this...
getting one of those. So I imagine,
but it has like a giant...
imagine you've since looked into it and decided it's not for you because of the price.
Oh well, the cargo one, I'm like, I can't afford that without Juliana's permission. As well as the one issue I have is like, I don't want to. That thing would be like 75 pounds trying to get up a 3-floor walk up. If I lived on the ground floor, I'm like, I'm buying it tomorrow.
Okay,
but
probably put it safely in my lobby.
That shit's like 3,000 depending on. You can also, depending on where you live, you can get like a tax rebate for it.
Ooh.
But it's a real sign of wealth because people will use that shit and do like the minivan grocery shopping and be able to get everything in it and then just, all right, cool, you're gone.
That's wild.
People use that just like, all right, I'm not gonna get a car, I'm just gonna use this thing because you can get everywhere on that shit, and you're not sitting in traffic, you're just zooming, and the pedal assist, so like hills don't exist to you. A lot of people actually also use it for like putting their kids in it. We'll put like the kids on like a pillow or something, so it's a little cushiony, and just like, I don't want to deal with Toby on the subway. He's sitting the fucking front right here on your Switch, and I'm just gonna bike it.
See, that would be interesting to me if my job's office wasn't like 20 minutes away, like too far for me to I need a car.
Yeah.
But
also, you don't have like any protection if you were on a bike over there. Like,
no.
It's just like 4 lanes and hoping and praying.
There's a lot of lanes and there's a lot of and the lines next to the sidewalk aren't very wide.
Yeah.
I could ride on the sidewalk and be an asshole, but I don't think I would. There's a lot of foot traffic in that area, so it wouldn't really work out for me.
I am also an asshole about like when I do bike and I have to go into the street because I'm on the bike lane and be like hitting cars and be like, yo, this is the bike lane! Protect the bike lane!
Oh, you're that guy?
Yeah.
I feel like
Hey, motherfucker, I'm biking here.
you have so much rage building in you from various sources in your life, and you need an outlet for it. Because if you don't, you're gonna do something really bad. You're gonna piss off the wrong person or something.
The biking is honestly like you just. I re-fall in love with the city every time I bike because it's just such a nice. You get to you. There's no roof. You can look at all the big beautiful buildings, see the people, see people having fun. If you see something like fun going on, you can just drop the bike off and go. Because I do this city bike thing, so I just rent it. I think they have like the blue equivalent thing in Boston.
Yeah, it's not quite where I am.
Okay. Oh yeah, so it's like I just pick it up, drop it off wherever I need, and then if I get too lazy, I'll just ride the subway home. But yeah, that shit. Because after a long work day, you get on that subway, you won't get up and punch someone, especially the people who ain't got no mask and they're coughing, and I'm like, or the person who's got the mask under their mouth and they're coughing. Like, what are you doing?
Do they require masks again on the subway?
No, there's no requirement.
Of course not.
It's a Wild West. Well, no, actually there is a requirement, but no one's enforcing it. And everyone who looks like you'd be like, hey man, you should put on your mask. They also look like they would fight you there, and it's like I'm not trying to get spit on.
It is really one of those things where it's just like, I know that I could tell that person to do something here, but would it be worth it? No.
Do I really want to deal with someone who's just as upset as me and looking for a fight?
But also crazy.
Yeah. Oh my god, some lady had yelled at this dude on the subway the other day. She was just like, "You're my spot." I'm like, "Yo, it's a subway. Ain't nobody gonna spot you."
Oh my god, can you imagine the balls it would take to say something like that? You're in my spot. Excuse me?
I low-key want to do that one day. Of just like how would you react? Would you get the guy got up too? That's the best part. Well, no, he got up. He was like, I could tell someone was fucking wrong with you. And I'm like, well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Oh, I have a subway story. I just realized it's a small one. I went to Boston when my girlfriend had COVID because I had kind of just through various conversations talked to her. Because she couldn't leave her house. It happened very quickly. Hold on. My name is Cheryl. Cheryl, it's Carlos. Sincerely glad to meet you. Carlos, may I ask you a big favor? I want to get through this forest, but I'm afraid of doing it alone. I've heard that there's a sinister group of people called Team Galactic about. I think there'll be safety numbers. Please, may I go through with you? I didn't get the option to say yes or no.
Yeah.
Ma'am, I'm a child. But so I had basically asked what kind of treats or candy or ice cream she would want, because it was also super hot in her. They hadn't turned the AC on in her building yet.
Oh god.
And what her Starbucks order was and stuff like that. Found all that stuff out, got it. I went in to visit her and deliver it. But on the way, I got on the train, and I sat down, and I sat across from someone who looked like he could be homeless. I don't know. I never really get a good enough look to judge someone. They could be homeless, or they could just not really have great hygiene. I don't know. It's not an insult or anything. It's just some people aren't.
Some people got stink.
Yeah, some people got stink. So I sat right across from him, and I didn't really smell anything that bad. I sort of just I was sort of just whatever. And at first I was like, is it me? I've been walking around all day and it's sweaty, and I couldn't tell if it was me or not. I couldn't tell if I didn't wash my mask well enough or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I was I'll give the benefit of the doubt. I was whatever. So the dude eventually moves, and he goes and he moves from the end of the, because I was at the very end of the car, and he moves to the middle. And I was oh fuck, did I smell? What the fuck? I feel so bad right now. And then 3 different people move from sitting next to or near him and come down to my side of the car, and I was oh, I guess it was him.
Y'all gonna get loud.
But I was also then why did he move? I'm just very confused, and he got off a stop later.
Maybe he can smell it. Oh, maybe he couldn't tell it was coming from him. He's just God damn, everyone smells today.
Maybe. I just thought it was very funny, where it was just I was for a moment I was ah fuck, do I smell? Ah, that's shitty of me. Cause I bathe and I wear deodorant and stuff. So
yeah, but every once in a while, you have a really hot day.
Yeah. But so when he moved and then a bunch of people moved after, I was oh. It's not me. Sweet. I remember there was an older woman, maybe like 40s, who had a couple tote bags, and one was a BioWare bag. And I was like, ah, shit. Do I want to, like, have a conversation about this? And like, no, not on the train. No, I don't. Like, I was like, do you want to be like, hey, I work at a game studio too. Do you work? And I was like, I don't know, it's too much effort. It's too hot. I don't want to deal with this.
Did I ever tell you I have a psycho? Or he's not psycho. He's a good friend. Friend Dylan. He met his girlfriend on the fucking subway. She had headphones on, and he somehow convinced this woman
No!
to take
No!
the headphones off.
No!
Give her
You can't do that.
I don't know how he did it.
That's illegal. That is against the societal rules.
He got, like, I was just like, dog. One, why are you approaching a woman in public? Two, on the subway? Ain't nobody was trying to talk on the subway.
We're just off to a really bad start. And it's like we're off to a bad start and it gets worse. Like,
I was just like, I mean, shout out to him that he was smooth enough to make it work, but also I was just like, nigga, you'd be annoying as fuck. I would have got my ass up and moved across the cart. Like, stop talking to me, motherfucker.
how on earth did that work out? Is it Stockholm Syndrome? Like, does she feel threatened? Like,
No, they dated and then he dumped her for after like a year. And
he
a half.
dumped her?
Yeah.
Shit, you can't be trusting someone who will talk to people
He
in the
said she
subway.
He said she was very boring. I mean, the thing about Dylan is that motherfucker's a talker. You put that motherfucker in a room with 3 people, he'll have him talk about something.
What did he say? She was boring?
Yeah, she was very boring.
She's breaking up with someone after a year and a half because they were boring.
I mean, I
get it, but I'm also
understand it.
like, you could have figured that out before a year and a half, is what I'm trying to say. Like,
No, because what happened, because it was right before COVID.
oh my god.
And they were like, yeah. And he kept thinking like, oh, if I keep introducing things into the relationship of like, oh, I'll take you here, we'll do that, like, it'll get interesting. And then it slowly just got more, he's just like, we were really just in 2 different places.
I've broken up with girls before because, like, they were into it, but I was just like, we don't have enough in common, and you're not attractive enough to offset this. It's basically what it came down to. As mean as that sounds, or just like I just like, I'd be like after like 2 or 3 weeks or something like that, where, you know, we talk enough and like the conversation well is already starting to draw or to go a little dry, and I'm just sort of like, I don't need to entertain this anymore. Like, the free trial period is over.
I remember the first time I dumped Youngblood, I was just like, I was like, I can do better. I can go out here and find better. And then after 1 week, I was like, nah, I can't. Let's go back. Let's go back. Hey, let's reset the timer.
That's really scummy. Like, I thought mine was scummy, but yours is pretty bad. Like,
Yeah, mine was very bad, but, you know, then she dumped me, so, you know.
well, luckily it didn't have any like long-lasting effects or anything. It didn't like put you down in the dumps for like weeks at a time.
No, it was good. Cry a little bit, watch 100 Days of Summer. I was fine, man. I was fucking fine.
100 Days of Summer, is that the prequel?
Oh, yes. Well, no, 100 Days of Spring.
I was gonna say also, isn't it 500 Days of Summer?
No, I was fine, man. I was fine.
Did you only watch the first like fifth of the movie?
No, I watched that whole shit, man. That shit was bad.
That movie is toxic. It's really bad.
That movie is the older you
get it, the
better
worse
that
it
movie.
gets. It's so bad.
You know, to me, it gets even better because you start realizing Tom was on some bullshit from the jump.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you watch it as a kid and you relate to the main character, and then you get some world
Yeah.
experience and you're like, oh no, wait, definitely don't relate to the main character. And then you get older
No,
and
I
you're
mean-
like, the main character's an asshole. Like, it's just.
I'll say this: the older I get, the more I was just like, dog, I was an asshole and I was in the wrong. But also, I'm like, it works. I think I still think it's a good movie because I'm like, it works.
Oh no, it's
For both the
it's
people-
lucky because of the actors. The movie works because you can interpret it both
Everyone-
ways.
Yeah.
Like, if you're intelligent enough, you can interpret it the correct way, which is that he's an asshole. But it's also like viewing it as like on his side if you're like younger or an incel.
Yeah.
It's also still a good movie that way.
Or someone lying to themselves about the relationship that they're in.
Yeah. It helps that
That's the
Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zoe Chanel knock both those roles out of the park.
Yeah.
What's a movie I wanted to watch recently? I watched
Been a lot of good
the
ones.
I watched the Chip and Dale movie.
Oh yeah, you told me that.
It was surprisingly good. Andy Samberg and John Mulaney are pretty good. Still don't know how I feel about John Mulaney at the moment.
Oh yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, surprise guest, transphobia.
Yeah, not.
No.
But his fans are what annoy me. I just got beef with this dude.
He has some
They are-
rough fans.
Big parasocial. Big parasocial.
Yes.
And like, I don't like to hate on a woman's looks, but I'm just saying, if Olivia Munn is the one proposition, I understand. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right, Nick.
Are you saying she's punching up?
Who, Olivia Munn?
Yeah.
No, he's punching way above out his weight.
Oh, okay.
Olivia is a very attractive woman. I'm saying, if Olivia Munn is knocking on your door, I understand why you are making illogical decisions.
I mean, also, he put a baby in her, so...
Yeah, I mean...
Are they still
again,
together?
illogical. No.
Oh, well then what the fuck? Like... Did she have
Yeah,
the
this-
baby?
You think I keep it up with that much? I only see it when the women get upset because Olivia Munn did something.
I should ask
So
Catherine.
I guess because once they have a baby, once that baby comes out, they're gonna be very upset.
It's weird to kind of watch someone's life fall apart.
That's the best part.
Like, I'm sure it's better in a lot of ways, because, you know, he's not addicted to drugs. So, that's probably a good thing. I remember seeing his show. Like, the first show he did after getting out of rehab. Or the first tour show he did. I didn't see the ones in New York. Because I don't live in New York. I even got a shirt that says the one right after rehab, which is pretty funny. But it was a very raw show. He was just like he had clearly like performed the bits before, so like he kind of like gotten it down, and I was like very surprised he hasn't released another special because like he has the material like done for another special, like 100% like just done. So I wonder if it's just like he just doesn't want to kind of get back there yet. But it was like one of his jokes was like, does anyone want 20 suits tailored to a 60-pound coke addict? I have one suit that fits now. It's like, oh shit. Maybe doing coke isn't all cracked up to be.
I've heard it's great for weight loss.
That's true. Should we go on the coke diet?
Nah,
Why not?
I've actually lost a lot of weight from the stress of this.
I was
job.
gonna say, I can guess why.
Like so many people have been commenting on my weight, and I'm like, I really feel uncomfortable with all of this. I would prefer if we all went back to calling me Fat Carlos. That was a good time.
That happened to me
I was happy.
when I was the assistant manager at GameStop. I was
Oh,
like,
so
I was
you were
losing some
fat?
weight because I was on my hand or on my feet all the time, but also like just horribly stressed. Some people would be like, "Oh, you look like you've lost weight." And I was like, "I noticed you didn't say I look good. You just say I lost weight." It's like, because I feel like a ghost. Like I feel like a ghoul. Like my life force has just been sapped from me.
Guess my work is mad trash. I really regret being good at this job. That's the worst part. People keep complimenting me that I'm good at this job, and I'm like, no, it's because I literally just take 2 seconds and I think, and then I do think. And everyone's just, they laughed at me one time because I asked in a meeting, "Where's the agenda?" Like,
It's the shit like that is insane. Where I'm like, I'll propose like the most basic common sense solution in places, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's good. We didn't think about that." I'm like, "You should have thought of that. That is an indictment on you that you didn't think of that. Like, this should have came naturally. Like, I don't know what to tell you." So I'm trying to shift roles at my job, where basically going from customer service to trying to get into production.
change your hat. Change your hat.
Yeah, essentially. And there's like I can't really do it for a while because I'm working on a project that is close to launching and is eating me away inside. with how stressful it is. But but once that's over, I want to start looking to the future because I've kind of hit like the cap of where what I can do in my department. And my boss is like, I mean, I really don't have the pull to like authorize any of this. We need, because we're missing like 3 levels of management because they all left rapidly during the pandemic for different jobs, by the way, not like all at once. And like there's a hiring freeze, we just couldn't get people to replace them. So like the entire director of customer service and QA is currently overseeing our like some of our day-to-day stuff, and he's like I'm too good for this. Where like he's not gonna look at this. Like it's a lot of like it's clearly not like his direct responsibility. There's supposed to be like 2 people in between us, so just funny like the juxtaposition. But like until we get like a new like director, someone to like actually like fill one of those roles, we're like holding off on that kind of stuff. But then I went on LinkedIn, and I like could see job openings at my place of work, like for the job I'm trying to transition to. Where I'm like, I could just apply and just see what happens, like, just go rogue.
What's the worst that could happen?
I mean, lots. Look at the friendship checker.
Great, I remember my old job when my boss left and they asked me like, Carlos, why don't you apply for the new job? Because I was like, I ain't trying to be here. I'm trying to leave y'all.
Do you regret leaving your job now?
No.
That's good. I don't want you to
regret. Because like the only thing I'm like, man, I could be making a lot less and just be stressed out, especially with this inflation. Now I'm just like, I just hate my job. Which is, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it's one thing. Could be worse. I could be in a relationship that I hate. Broke. No dog.
Well,
and a small penis. So like,
hey,
it could be very...
It's not too late for all of that to change. Including your fascination with lying to yourself. Just... Hey you, yeah, you trainer. It's okay, never mind, you look tough. I won't take, I'll just let you keep your Pokemon, carry on. Thanks, man. Oh shit. Oh, is that a Pokedex? Seems to be helping Professor Rowan. What's your name? Hey, hello, Carlos. I'll be sure to remember that name. My name is Cynthia. I'm a trainer just like you. I'm studying Pokemon mythology lately, just out of curiosity. Here in Eternal City, there's a statue of an ancient Pokemon. Aw, John Barnett is online playing Pokemon, or Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth? Hell yeah, John. According to myth, it was extremely powerful Pokemon. Who knows? You may encounter something like that something like it while you're traveling with your Pokedex. Try using these. These should help you on your way. TM93. I don't know what 90s.
It's gone.
Cut. Oh, good. As the hidden move apps allows you to chop down small trees that are blocking your way. You can use this hidden move cut from your Pokemon. Whatever. Good luck, trainer.
A poke gets you a Pokenut.
What do you think about that lady we just encountered? The mysterious lady.
I don't think she's gonna come back into the plot. I don't
you
think we're
think
also gonna. I don't think we'll see her name.
She'll never be
I
back.
think that's the last we see of her. Man.
I remember being and being like, when I would put something like when they'd reintroduce a character, being like, "Yo, shit, I remember that."
As a kid, you were
yes,
like, "Oh
yes,
man, they cannot miss. They brought them back." My favorite discourse is Star Wars discourse, where it's like Glorp Shido, whatever it is, where they make this joke of like Star Wars fans literally just want to watch the Disney Plus shows, so that in episode like 4, they can be like, "Oh shit, they brought Glorp Shido into this!" Like, he's my guy. I love that. It's so good.
There's like, that's my beef with the Star Wars community. That and the racism, but
I have a lot of beef with the Star Wars community.
Reminds me of like those internet nerd channels. Like that shit must be exhausting. You must be the most exhausting person in your social circle.
Oh, to be like a huge nerd.
Yes.
I can believe that, yeah.
But not like. But I mean more of like you make a YouTube channel, and you're doing the game theory bullshit of like this they've hired this production designer.
One of my,
this could mean next movie.
One of my friends is into that kind of stuff with like games and like or like with like One Piece. And I'm just like, I don't have the energy to like look at fan theories because I'm also like these people are just wrong all the time. Like it
Also,
doesn't
who
help.
cares?
Me. Yeah, who cares is another good.
A fucking fan theory.
My
What do you do?
well, because people have asked me before, because like obviously Digimon's a big part of this channel, so they've been like, "Oh, are you gonna do anything on like the new show?" I'm like, "No." Like, what would I do? Like a review? I'm not interested in that. Or like theories on like future stuff. I'm like, I could milk this for like 100 videos. I just don't want to.
Digivolve. I bet they're gonna digivolve.
But it's like I stick to the games pretty much. I don't know. It's stuff like that that's strange.
Like I kind of get the appeal, but also I don't know. Maybe that's just not the way I ever talk about shit.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's fun to like think about stuff. Like I'm like that with the boys right now. I'm like, what the fuck is gonna happen this season? I have no idea. Like,
I think that's a more fun, different conversation.
yeah, it's speculation versus like fan theories.
Yeah, fan theories that suck are the ones where they're like, if you look at this scene, this minute, the camera goes this way. That must mean, etc. And I looked on IMDb and it says this. Like, nah, dog. Let's just keep it fun. This is supposed to be fun. We're all here to have fun.
It's I don't get it. I don't get like the getting like that deep with like fan theory stuff. Like, come on.
Or being upset that your fan theory wasn't proven correct. That shit's the shit that blows my mind.
Oh, when fan theories are wrong, yeah. There's a big thing in One Piece that I like spoil a little bit. Spoilers for One Piece manga. I'm gonna be vague still, but just like I don't know, skip like a minute ahead.
Are you gonna spoil 2P?
Hmm?
Are you gonna spoil 2P?
No. So there's a big battle that happened recently, and people were like really theorizing that Luffy, the main character, would lose, for like various reasons, and then he won because of course he did. It's shown in the anime. And like all these fan theories were like, this is bad writing and this and that. I'm like, what? Excuse me? It's not. It's just you were just wrong. Just admit it. Like, very weird. All right, spoilers over. It is fun to keep up to date on like manga and stuff like that. I would say One Piece is probably the one I'm like most invested in, just because like the community around is so good and like the work is pretty consistent. But then you go to other series, and people like take turns, like basically hating on it. Like there's you've watched a couple seasons of My Hero Academia, right?
Yeah. I was actually I gotta rewatch the last season.
Predictably, the manga is kind of running out of steam in some aspects, or like it's starting to feel rushed. Where it's like you could tell he had the broad strokes, but like isn't quite getting there with some of like the more minutia. Where like the smaller beats aren't really hitting like they did in the beginning because they're not as like fleshed out. I'm still reading. It's not bad. It's just like not as like good as it was. Like there were definitely some higher notes. And like people just be like in the comments will just be like, I don't even care what happens at this point. I'm just reading for the sake of reading. It's like I get that. I've been like that with some people, or with some series, but you were way too negative, man. You gotta let it go. Like,
yeah. Just like it's never that serious.
No.
I was like that with wrestling, where I was just like getting upset, and I'm like, why do I care?
Wrestling is an interesting one because like you like the amount of scripting in that is like
wrestling goes in ebbs and flows. You check out for a little bit and then you check back in. There's no like there are people who I'm amazed will watch it no matter what, but I've never been like that. I've always been like, what?
I thought it was just from a song. My brain like broke for a second. Like I think the chorus of the song I was thinking was like no matter what.
Oh, I thought you were about to sing that Eminem song. No. Everybody take my hand.
That reminded me of another song. I don't know where this one's from, but it's definitely in my brain. I don't know why. I'm just like everybody. Is that from Aristocats?
Yeah.
It is. Oh my god, what a deep cut.
Everybody wants to be.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the one with the racist band.
I've only seen Aristocats once. I've never.
I think I watched it a couple times. You know, it's only like 50 minutes. You get away with murder back then with runtime. Like I think, I think Toy Story 1 is like 70 minutes.
I think most of the issues came from like straight up. It costs so much more to produce that shit.
But it's also
that shit
like,
must have been
it's very funny to me.
Imagine you're sitting there and someone's just like, "Hey, I had this idea. How about we put up moving pictures?" Motherfucker, if you don't get back to work right now.
Do you know what still bothers me?
What?
That movie literally just means like move dash E, as in like they had talkies, which is the radio programs, and then they had movies where they would it's like the fact that it's become such a accepted word instead of like film, where I'm like, it's the dumbest fucking name it could possibly have. Like, I'm fine, I say movie too, but I'm also like, when you think about it, and you're like, that is really stupid. Like, really stupid. I hate it. It's one of those realizations that you can't unknow. Like, it's just, and it's so bad. That's literally the reason why they're called movies. That's it.
Maybe we should change society.
You kept me waiting. I'm Eterna's gym leader, Gardenia, the grass-type master. When I first saw you, I was convinced you'd find your way to me. Yeah, right? My hunch is right on the money. You have a winning aura about you. So anyway, this will be fun. Let's have our battle.
Alright, let's battle it up.
Bam.
Well, she kind of got a fit.
This is a pretty cool outfit. I don't know how I feel about the cut-off pants, though.
Yeah, I'd wear longer jeans.
Or just, like, wear pants that were meant to be that length. You think we'll win?
Actually, no.
Oh.
Aren't you gonna burn the fuck out of this forest?
I'm gonna try.
Climate change.
If they have a... yeah, climate change is coming. If they have a water grass type, then I'd be in trouble. It's the boy! He looks so happy. Turtwig is the 3 started. I told you this already. Turtwig is the one I would have picked. It's just because I like his design the most.
Is there a little bit of worry in the world of Pokemon for like someone burning down the forest by accident?
No. There should be, but there isn't.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say worry about the population of Pokemon. I was like, oh, Carlos. Don't you know? You can breed in this game.
I don't feel comfortable.
Well, it gets worse. So, you can take 2 Pokemon of a male and female gender, and you can breed them that way. Or, you can take almost any Pokemon, and then a Ditto. Do you know what a Ditto is?
Yeah.
Where its whole gimmick is that it's a blob that can turn into any Pokemon it wants to.
Yeah.
You can take one of those, pair it with any Pokemon, and then they'll breed the whatever Pokemon isn't a Ditto isn't. So Ditto is essentially used most of Pokemon as a sex slave.
I'm making a face, and I don't like
I
that.
told you
I don't like,
before we started
don't
this that I was like, you think you have a grasp on how fucked up Pokemon is, but you have no idea.
I want to know less.
You will only know more. And that is all.
Oh, Christ. What the fuck were they thinking? They were like, oh, this is fine. This is suitable for children.
I couldn't tell you. You know what kind of games don't have breeding in them? Digimon games. They're not like, yeah, let's have procreating in our game. It's just weird. Just very weird.
How many more gyms are there? Are there 8?
There are 8.
Okay. And we've done one.
We made some good progress. This is the second one. So we're 1/4 of the way through the game. That's not bad progress, right?
Yeah. On one weekend?
Yeah. So that's something I want to tell you about. So I'm glad we got this many done in a day. We should try, because I know our schedules don't always line up perfectly. Amazing, you're very good, aren't you? Well, that's cool that she took that loss in stride. But we should try and record. If we can, we should try and do one a week. If we miss a week, then we have like enough leeway where we can stay ahead for a while. Which is why I want to get so much done in one day.
Mm-hmm.
If you think that's possible, we can try.
I will try. I'll tell Juliana to make that time.
if we run out, I reserve the right to replace you, even if it's temporary. I've already planned ahead for this. Like, if Carlos isn't able to make it, which has happened before, I'm gonna replace you with a roving cast of characters.
Carlos Flaky could never be me.
Someone
actually invited me to a barbecue today, and I was just like, yeah, I'm good.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have expected you to cancel on me for that.
Nah, I had seen them, and I was like, I really just don't want to. Like, there were going to be other people there. I'm like, I really don't want to talk to strangers.
Well, the good news is you put in your work today, and I appreciate it. So you can just rest for the rest of the day. Enjoy time with your dog.
We're going to have a deep conversation about global economics.
Trying to think about how Juliana's in Jersey doing who knows what. Could be anything.
Her only rule is don't do coke.
What? We invited John Mulaney. What the fuck are we supposed to... Was that really her only rule?
That's typically the only rule.
So she gave you a hall pass.
Oh.
It's like, wow, that tone changed real quick.
my only rule I get told every time I'm about to go out is she's like, don't flirt with other girls. And I'm like, what do you think I'm out here doing? You think I'm out here being an entertainer, just talking to random women?
Just
I'm like,
you being around, just being like, hey, what's going on?
I sit in the corner of the bar and I scroll Twitter until my friend talks to me.
Oh, that is funny though. All right, so we can use our real team now because
you got the two.
Well, they're underleveled, so they can they'll listen to me for a while. I can also use Totodile finally, so that's poggers. I don't know where we're supposed to go next. Try exploring Eternal City. So we'll call it. Oh, that's not what I want to do. We'll call it there.
You want to check the book? Yeah, that's fine with me.
And thank you for putting 4 videos today. A round of applause for Carlos in the comments today. You worked very hard.
Diligently. So again, the offer still stands. 200K donation to Nick. We'll end all of this.
Yeah, it's that easy. 100K if you want to just stop Carlos from being... No, we'll make it affordable. $5,000 if you want Carlos to never appear in a video again. And then 200K to scrub him from the history of the channel.
200K to act like I never existed.
Yeah.
Like, the next video would be Mark and Spencer and Nick just talking.
200K for me to genuinely cut him out of my life. Just to never speak to him again.
200K for that? I would have said 500K. Why would
you? You really would? If someone offered you 200K to never talk to me again, you wouldn't take that?
Nah.
Damn, I'm impressed. I would, but but now I'm like rethinking it. Now I'm like maybe it's not enough. Like,
yeah, because then I'm like I'm gonna have 200K, and then I'm like, what do I want to play? Well,
200K is also not enough to quit your job yet. You could quit your bad job right now, but like it's not enough to retire. Especially not
200K is enough. 200K is enough to flex on someone though. To get into an argument with someone at a party, because this is what I would do if I ever won a bunch of money, like 200K. The first thing I would do is go to a function, get into an argument, and then be like, just buy something ridiculous off of them. Or like, I'm gonna buy your house. Granted, 200K won't buy your house in today's market, but it will make you question if you're just pulling up a K that maybe you could in another bank account.
So I gave a false ending because this guy just asked me how many Pokemon we've encountered, and I said 34, and he was like, you're gonna have to find at least 35. So we gotta do a little battling here, see if that's enough, because I think he unlocks an ability for us, which I can do off screen when I don't record. I think you unlock the underground, which essentially unlocks like a bunch of like hidden Pokemon and stuff like that. Also, this dude looks malicious. He does not look like he has his best interests at heart. You look at that grill in the dark, like the shadow.
Yeah, what the fuck? He's burning the floor.
It's like, yes. Yes. What do you think your superpower would be? If you like were born with superpowers? Assuming that it's like tied to your personality.
Quickest shot in the West.
The what?
Because I would be the quickest shot in the West.
What? What kind of shot? Alright, so we encountered one more. This is Don's father, who's letting his 10-year-old run across the country.
I don't know. I can think of superpowers that'd be helpful.
That wasn't very helpful. I thought he would give me something better.
Oh, teleport. Because people claim that I love to leave places.
People claim I'm elusive and it's very hard to hang out with me, so I guess maybe invisibility. I don't think I would use invisibility for like malicious things, but I would not use it for good things either.
Oh, teleport? Shit, dog. I would say like, oh, I'm gonna go check on this thing. Teleport back to my house.
If you had the ability to teleport, you really just couldn't tell anyone, because you would just like you would leave things super late, and stuff like that. You would like leave things super late, but then still show up on time. Like you just make the most of your free time.
People would be really upset with me, like, oh, I saw Cross. He still hasn't even gotten fucking dressed for this thing. And then be like, walking through the door, I'm like, what y'all talking about? What y'all talking about?
This dude's lying. And then that guy would be like, I swear, I just like... Be like, Jeffrey, you're such a piece of shit. Why would you do that to Carlos?
Or it'd be like, you have to be somewhere, but the food is whack, and then I would just teleport to go get some good food, and then be like, where'd you get that? And I'm like, I
asked them, and they made it special for me.
Yeah.
Alright,
I flipped the chef for $20.
Well, that's it, folks. Thanks for watching, and
Right.
we'll do part 5 soon. And hope you guys enjoy. See you later.
All right.